How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. If you guys are new here, do me a huge favor, go down and subscribe. Today is finally the video where the Miata door cards are done. Yes, after about 3 months, they're done. We've been working on it since the beginning of this month, so it hasn't been that long, but I've been collecting the pieces and the parts and saying that I've been wanting to do this for quite a bit of time. So today is finally the day that they're done. You get to see the process if you're interested in building your own cards from start to finish. So we got to start off by taking the door cards off the car and then building new ones. As you can see, it's not in the best of condition, especially right there and a couple of burn marks right there. This door card is actually in pretty decent condition, most likely because no one ever sat on the passenger seat. There's a couple of pins around the border that I forgot about. There's a couple of pins here, just like that. We can take the speaker out very easily. We'll get back to that in just a second. I don't want to break anything. But there's also a clip here that is a little hard to see. I need to find it. Once I find it, you can kind of just pull the pin and then this piece will come out. Then there's a screw here, and then normally there's a bolt for the handle. So right here, the pin, that clip is right there. You see a little shiny part? That is the pin that I need to pull out. I believe you pull it towards yourself in order to get it out, so that's what I'm going to do and see if this comes out. So you have to find where the top of the clip is. This is the clip. You find the top of the clip. I just used this kind of bent nose plier, and I pinched it and pulled it, and it should be out. So I got the screwdriver. There's a screw right under here, which we are going to take out and put to the side. You make sure you don't want to lose any of these, obviously. And what we're gonna do is, there's 4 clips in the speaker, and just like that, this panel comes out. As you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then there's 2 clips here as well. Just be careful with it. Try not to break it, but it should come out pretty easily. That's another piece you have to take out. So you just slightly open the door. Kind of just learning as I go. Just like that, I have my door card out. And there is my door card, which, as you can see, if we look at this back side here, is pretty chewed up. I mean, this card has seen better days, and definitely is it's probably something that I'm gonna have to retrace and get a new piece of cardboard. I think this original card is toast. So after we got the door cards off the car, as you can see, one of the door cards, the driver's side in particular, was really bad. So next up, we took the old passenger side driver card and traced it out. We removed the leather, obviously, and the foam, and traced around all of the card, including the small little indentations for where the tabs go. And when I say we did anything, I pretty much mean my dad, because he pretty much did the entire thing for me. It just ended up being that way. It was kind of like a one-person thing. I was kind of getting in the way. I tried to help when I could. But we got done tracing it, and obviously after you're done tracing it, we just go straight to the cutting process and cut up both sides. Now that it was cut out, we had to cut out the little places for the tabs, the crank, and the handle. So we took a little bit and made some holes. So this was one of the more tedious processes. As you can see right here, we were kind of sanding down the little places where the tabs go, because we wanted to make them fit tight and we didn't want to get it too loose, so we had to drill a little smaller and then sand and kind of grind them down to the point where they fit just right. And as you can see here, I did a little mock-up of how it was going to look. This part I definitely would have messed up on. I'm glad that I had my dad, because I definitely would not have made it look as pretty as it does look. The final result you guys will see in just a second. But here we're adding foam, so we just got to get a little bit of glue. We used a Gorilla Glue kind of spray across the entire thing and cut out the foam properly. This was the part of the process where I would change a couple of things going back on it and actually being done with the card. So this is what it looked like with the foam. So the foam cured, and then we cut out the cloth. And what we did was kind of cut little tabs, as you guys can see there. It kind of cut it into triangles to make it fold it over, and then we kind of glued the triangles to that. We did use glue on the front side in between the foam and the cloth. From what I remember, kind of just forgot to film that because we were just trying to get it done. This is just showing you guys better of what we did in order to get the cloth actually on there. So we cut it out like this, and then glue and then kind of folded it over just like so. This is just showing how we cut out the place for the door handle. So this is the most tedious part of the process. So right here, we're filling in these little tabs with resin. So the problem is, this is the piece that goes on top of the door card. Every single tab was cracked or broken somehow, so we had to find a way to fix it. That last picture was taken a couple of days ago, right before I put everything back together. Just reverse the process, put the handle back in, put the grab back in, and I'm looking at it right now. It looks really good. But let me show you guys in the sunlight and kind of some of the imperfections, some of the things that might be fixed, etc., etc. And the one thing that I kind of wish we did differently. Got to move this bike and let's get the car outside. Yes, the whole interior is still gutted and there's no seats in it, but it should fire up. It fired up yesterday. So here it is, the Miata back out in the sun. It feels very weird to be filming this car outside again, but this is the door card. Completed and finished. I think this turned out awesome. I could have put a little pocket here if I wanted to. Some of the Miatas came with pockets there, but I decided to opt out for a couple of different reasons. One of it would have delayed the process even more and these wouldn't have been finished, but also I really like just the clean and sleek look. So basically every single piece you see here is either from the car or bought from the fabric store. So this was reupholstered, so this is not the actual original kind of vinyl that came with it, which you can tell because it's a little wrinkled right there. The other piece, that is actually the original vinyl still on the car. If you guys remember, there was a little burn mark here and there was a little cut here, and I just could not stand putting that piece back in like it was. So what we did was take everything off, take all the vinyl off, and kind of just put this new vinyl on. This new vinyl is a little thicker, which is why it just didn't really set right. This indentation is actually from the foam underneath, but I think with the sun, this is going to bake in and it's going to look just fine. I try to keep it as close to OEM as possible. You can't really tell that this is not the OEM piece, or like these two pieces are different because they're extremely similar. So this is the only piece I did not get from a fabric store. I'll leave the eBay link to the description down below. Most of these are really expensive. I went with the red because Porsche does red door handles. The Porsche ones are like $800. These are like $20 or $30, and they're actually good quality. You can actually get this piece to be a little thinner if you want, and it goes inside the fabric. I wanted the metal to show. If I'm paying for the metal, I want it to show. So this is the way that I went for it. They come with flat bolts, but unfortunately, the bolt did not fit on that side. The bolt on this side was just a little too short, so these are what I had to go with. I'm not sure if I love it or I hate it. They're black. It kind of matches everything else, but the other ones were the same color as this washer here, so you couldn't really tell that it was there. I'm kind of on the fence of whether I want to go and find those bolts that came with it just a little longer or leave it like this. But like I was saying, the one piece I wish we did differently was actually right here, because the crank is a little tight. Over time, I'm sure it's going to wear down in this specific area, but the crank is a little tight, given this crank was always tight, but a little less foam would have made it easier to go in, and if I ever do want to take it out, it's going to be easier to take out. So there was a little creasing that you guys saw here before. We actually went and fixed that and simply just lifted and took it off and then redid it and stretched it. There's a little bit of sag right here, but you can't even notice it, and I think, again, over time, just with everything, I think it'll be fine. These need to be cleaned. I wanted to put them in so then I can clean it while they're in the car. You guys can kind of see like everything, every place we put our hands, but with a nice clean, I think they're going to look even better. So this is the piece that had the broken brackets. So these two actually separate. Originally they're stapled in the front, but I didn't restaple it, kind of just glued it back together, and let's see how it holds, I guess. But all the brackets in that were broken. The reason I kind of went for this, number one, I took inspiration from someone on the internet, but also at the same time, it's not an original idea. I'm sure he wasn't the first, and I'm not going to be the last person to do it this way. I did red door handles because obviously my car is red, and obviously I'm probably going to do red bucket seats, or want to do red bucket seats, and Porsche does red door handles, and I took a little bit of inspiration from that. Alcantara on the doors, simply because that's kind of how Lamborghini does it, taking a little bit of inspiration from the supercars. I just think it looks clean. I know it's a little annoying to keep clean, but I think it will be fine, or I know it's gonna be fine as long as I decide to take care of it. Also, the sun on the camera is kind of fading. These are bright red. Like, they're bright red. They're not like light red like you guys are seeing. They're pretty bright red, and it's actually a nice quality. It feels really nice to sit in the Miata outside in the sun. I'm not gonna lie. I can't wait to actually get this car back on the roads. There's still salt on the roads, which is why I don't drive it. But I think the next thing is, for the interior, getting rid of the steering wheel, getting some bucket seats, and then kind of just cleaning it out. And we're pretty much done. And probably a roll bar as well, but that comes a little bit later. That's all I have for this video, though. If you guys did enjoy it, do me a huge favor, go down and subscribe, leave a like on this video. And for people who stay to the end, I'll give you guys a little teaser at the next modification that I have for this car. This is as much as I'll say, but the Miata's about to get a whole lot faster.